The episode begins with Denji dreaming of being in a back alley, where he finds a door and reaches for it. He then wakes up and decides to go to work for the Yakuza. On his way, he calculates how much money he got from cutting trees, selling his kidney, right eye, and one of his nuts. However, he still owes a lot more money. Pochita barks, and Denji realizes that there is a devil nearby, which excites him as he earns a good sum for a dead devil. He sees a tomato devil and, using Pochita as a chainsaw, he manages to kill it. The old man who hired him explains that he will pay him 400,000 yen, more than Denji expected, but after taking various fees and interest, he gives Denji only 70,000 yen. After paying his bills and other expenses, Denji ends up with only 1,800 yen. The old man's driver wonders why he would hire someone like Denji. The old man explains that Denji is paying back what his father owed. The real devil hunters won't give them the devil carcass, and Denji just does what he's told. The driver offers 100 yen to Denji if he eats his cigarette, and Denji gladly accepts. After they leave, Denji spits out the cigarette. While eating bread at his place, Denji tells Pochita that he heard people put jam on it, but that's just a dream for them. Denji guesses he will die before he repays the debt and probably won't even get a girlfriend. He recalls standing in front of his father's grave when the old man came, complaining that his father killed himself before paying his debt. The man tells Denji to gather 700,000 yen by tomorrow or he'll chop him to pieces. As the old man leaves, Denji sees a devil with a chainsaw. Since he already feels dead inside, he is fine being killed by it. However, he then sees that the devil is bleeding and offers to let it bite him and drink his blood. As Pochita bites him, Denji says Pochita needs to pay him back and help him as well. The next day, Denji kills a devil and gives it to the old man, asking him to hire him as a devil hunter. Being too hungry, Denji is unable to sleep. He tells Pochita that he dreams of having bread with jam, flirting with a girl, playing games with her, and then falling asleep while hugging each other. Denji then coughs blood and tells Pochita that he heard his mother had a heart disease that made her cough blood too. The old man comes and picks up Denji, saying he found some devil hunting work for him. He takes him to an abandoned factory. As they enter, Denji can't see any devil. The man tells Denji that he's grateful for him, since he's loyal like a dog and works for cheap, but he can't stand the dog's stench. At that moment, a man with a sword stabs Denji and Pochita from behind. The man explains that even the Yakuza dream of getting bigger and making more money, so they made a deal with the devil. They wanted power, and the devil wanted dead devil hunters. The zombie devil then reveals itself and states that the Yakuza are dumb for becoming his slaves in exchange for a bit of power, as his power turns them into zombies. The zombie devil doesn't like devil hunters because they kill other devils, so he orders his new zombie army to kill Denji. Heavily bleeding, Denji tries to run, but the zombies catch up to him and start stabbing and chopping him to pieces. Cut into pieces, Denji is thrown into a dumpster with Pochita. Some of Denji's blood reaches Pochita's mouth, and Pochita awakens. Pochita recalls spending time with Denji, cutting trees. Denji tells him that he may die fighting a devil, and his regret would be leaving Pochita alone and starving, or getting killed by other devil hunters. Denji says he heard some devils can take over dead bodies, and if that's true, he tells Pochita to take his body so he can live a normal life and die a normal death. In the dumpster, Pochita fuses with Denji, rejoining his chopped-up body and healing him. Denji awakens and wonders if Pochita took over his dead body. Pochita says he loved hearing Denji talk about his dreams and decides to give him his heart. In exchange, he wants Denji to show him those dreams. Denji awakens, fully healed, and sees Pochita's tail coming out of his chest. The zombie devil is surprised to see Denji alive and orders the zombies to eat him. Denji wonders if he is the same as the Yakuza, unsatisfied with the happiness he had with Pochita, always dreaming for more. If that's the case, he can't blame them, but if they're in his way, they'll die. Denji then pulls the cord from his chest as the zombies jump on him. Moments later, he bursts out of the zombie pile, transformed, with chainsaws on his arms and head. After chopping up some zombies, Denji jumps on the zombie devil and starts cutting him. The zombie devil manages to push him back and throws more zombies at him to keep him away. Continuing to cut through the zombies, Denji jumps on the zombie devil again and cuts him in half. Seeing the remaining zombies, Denji notes they've become devils, and they hired him to kill devils. He proceeds to cut them all down, saying once he's done, he won't owe them any money. Early in the morning, a car stops in front of the abandoned factory. Makima and two men enter and see the bloodbath inside. She sees Denji and approaches him, noting that he has a strange smell, neither human nor devil, and guesses he did all of it. Denji asks to be hugged, and Makima hugs him. Denji returns to normal, and Makima notes that he's human and not possessed. She explains she came to kill the zombie devil and that she's a devil hunter with public safety. She gives Denji two options: she can either kill him as a devil or keep him as a human. If she keeps him, she promises to make sure he's fed. Denji asks what she'll give him for breakfast. Makima says bread with butter and jam, salad, coffee, and maybe some dessert. Denji finds that awesome. While riding in the car with Makima, Denji's stomach growls. Makima tells him that he is in her care now and is expected to answer with yes or woof, as she doesn't need a dog that says no. Denji thinks Makima is nice, but now finds her kind of scary since she treats him like a dog. Denji then recalls Pochita, and his stomach growls again. Makima suggests they stop at a rest area. She tells him that she is paying and also gives him his coat, as he is shirtless. Denji gets happy, thinking no one has ever been that nice to him, and he believes he now loves Makima. At the rest area, Denji orders udon and sausage, while Makima orders curry udon. Having lost some blood from using the chainsaws, Denji feels anemic and falls on Makima. As he apologizes and explains his condition, Makima asks how he became that way. Denji tells her his pet devil replaced his heart. Makima explains that there aren't many precedents of his condition and there is no name for it, but she believes him as she has a good sense of smell. She tells him that his friend is alive inside him and that he gives off both a human and a devil scent. Denji gets excited but feels anemic again and collapses. When he wakes up, their udon is ready. Makima asks him if he can eat alone. Denji starts to say he can but then changes his mind and admits he cannot. Makima feeds him the udon, which he enjoys, although she says it is soggy at that point. Denji asks Makima her name and what type of guys she likes. After revealing her name and thinking a bit, Makima says she likes Denji-type guys. They reach Tokyo, but Denji is still thinking about her answer and says he likes her too. She tells him they have reached the Devil Hunter headquarters in Tokyo. As they enter the building, she explains there are over 1,000 Devil Hunters in Tokyo, including civilians, and that public safety offers the best benefits and paid vacation time. Denji starts wondering if they will work together and if they can end up being together. Makima gives Denji a uniform and introduces him to a co-worker, Aki Hayakawa, who started 3 years ago. She explains that Denji will be working with Aki today. Denji is surprised he won't be working with Makima. Aki says that's to be expected and drags him out to go on patrol. Denji refuses, wanting to work with Makima. She approaches him and says if he does a good job, they can work together someday, and she adjusts his tie. While on patrol with Aki, Denji asks if Makima has a boyfriend. Aki initially ignores him, then takes him to an alley and punches him. He hits him a few more times and tells him to quit. If he shows up tomorrow, Aki will beat him up again. Denji wonders why, and Aki explains he's trying to be nice. People who start this job without thinking end up dead. Many of his co-workers joined for money and died. Only those with real motivation survive. Aki guesses Denji took the job because he's after Makima, and Denji confirms it. As Aki leaves, he says he'll tell Makima that Denji ran away after seeing the devils. A moment later, Denji runs to him and kicks him between the legs. Aki notes Denji is a nice guy. When he fights men, he goes for the nuts, and Denji continues kicking Aki between the legs. Denji says that today, for the first time, he had udon and sausage and was treated like a human. He may have started devil hunting without thinking, but if he can keep this lifestyle, he doesn't care if he dies. Then he corrects himself, saying he does care because it's not just his life anymore. Aki stands up and attacks Denji, saying a punk like him shouldn't chase someone like Makima. Denji kicks him again, saying he sounds like he's into Makima too. As Aki falls to the ground, he notes that Denji really only goes for the nuts. Beaten up, they return to Makima. Denji claims the nut devil attacked Aki's nuts, but Aki says it's a lie. Makima asks if they can work together, and they both deny it, but she ignores them. She tells Denji he will be joining Aki's unit. Aki doesn't want another troublemaker, but Makima reminds him it's an experimental unit that operates differently from usual methods. Aki asks what Denji is, and Makima tells him Denji can turn into a devil. Aki had heard such rumors but didn't think they were true. Makima says Denji is special and will receive special treatment. She explains that if he tries to resign or refuses to work, he will be disposed of as a devil. Aki tells Denji he will be living with him so he can keep an eye on him and is allowed to kill him if he attempts to run. Denji wonders if Makima is a bad person. Aki says if he thinks that, he should give up on her and be grateful she didn't kill him. Denji then wonders if she is a good person, and Aki confirms it, saying she saved his life. In the morning at Aki's place, Denji uses various jams to make breakfast, making a total mess. Denji keeps living carefree, annoying Aki. One day, they go on a mission as a fiend has been spotted. As they enter the building, Denji asks what a fiend is. Aki asks if he hasn't gone to school, and Denji confirms he hasn't. Aki explains that a fiend is when a devil takes control of a human corpse. Denji wonders if he is a fiend, but Aki denies it, stating fiends have characteristic heads. They enter a room where the fiend is, and Aki tells Denji to kill him by turning into a devil, so he can see if Denji is useful. The fiend gets angry and attacks them, but Denji beheads him with an axe. Aki asks why he didn't use his powers. Denji explains that it gets messy when he does, and he wanted to make it painless for the fiend. Aki tells him that fiends are like devils, and if he's hunting devils, he should drop the sympathy. Aki reveals his family was killed by a devil in front of his eyes. Police officers are risking their lives, and everyone is taking it seriously except Denji. Aki asks if he's trying to make friends with devils. Denji says that if there's a devil he can be friends with, he would, as he doesn't have any friends. Aki leaves, stating he will remember that. Alone in the room, Denji says he just didn't want to get blood on the porn magazines on the ground, which is why he didn't transform. Denji feels his dream has come true, as he now has a good life, but something is missing. As he thinks of what other people dream of, he thinks of Makima and says he wants to touch her chest. He realizes that touching a woman's chest is something he stopped dreaming of long ago, but now, having a proper life, it may be possible. Denji then gets a new goal, touching a woman's chest. While speaking with Makima, she tells him that she is assigning him a new partner. She explains that public safety handles patrols and smaller missions with two-person teams. As his new partner arrives, Makima warns him she is a fiend. Power enters, announcing her name and asking if Denji is her new partner. Denji is surprised and wonders if fiends can be devil hunters, but looking at her chest, he changes his mind and is happy to meet her. Makima explains that fiends are also subject to extermination, but Power is quite rational and is on Aki's team. She reminds them that if there are no results, the experimental team will be dissolved, and they know what that means for them. As Power's horns stand out, Makima warns them to patrol areas without many pedestrians. While with Power, she gets annoyed and slaps Denji, telling him to provide her with something she can kill, as she is starved for blood. Denji decides to put up with her because he finds her attractive but wonders how to get his hands on her chest. They meet some policemen, and Denji recalls Makima told him to introduce themselves as part of Public Safety Devil Extermination Special Division 4 and show their ID. Denji and Power are unable to find any devils. Power notes it's probably because when she was a devil, she was feared by all. Denji wonders if they can do anything at this rate and recalls they were paired together by Aki's recommendation. He realizes Aki is trying to get him fired. Power then smells blood and starts running. A sea cucumber devil has been spotted and is being reported. Power jumps from a building, forms a hammer with her blood, and smashes the devil, causing a messy and bloody scene. She then gets excited that she killed the devil and laughs maniacally. While people work on cleaning the mess left by Power killing the sea cucumber devil, Makima tells her that when public safety kills a civilian hunter's devil, they are guilty of obstructing their business, and normally, Power would be arrested for that. She tells Power to think more before she acts and tells Denji to keep her under control. As Power is the blood devil, she has a talent for using her blood, but she gets worked up easily and might not be cut out to be a devil hunter. Hearing that, Power says Denji made her kill the devil, but Denji denies it, calling her a liar. The two then start arguing about who is lying. Makima tells them to be quiet, and Power immediately stops. Makima then says she wants to see them working well together, and Power agrees that they can. Denji buys himself a drink. Power sees a cat and starts petting it. Denji says that buying a drink is a dream come true for him, but if things continue like this, being thirsty will be the least of his problems. And with Power lying, things won't get any easier. Power explains that she enjoys only the company of cats and hates humans. She also hates devils because one of them kidnapped her pet, Meowie. Before she could get Meowie back, Makima captured her, and by now, Meowie may be dead, but Power refuses to give up hope. If she can get Meowie back, Power is willing to put up with humans or do whatever else she needs to do. She doubts that Denji can understand her concern for a cat. Denji says it's stupid to care so much about a cat, but he would do anything to touch some breasts. However, if it were a dog, he could understand her. Power then suggests he can touch her breasts if he helps her retrieve Meowie. Denji gets pumped up and angry at the devil that kidnapped the cat. As a devil hunter, he can't let that slide and vows to kill that devil. They get approval from public safety for Power to go out. While they travel toward the devil, Power explains that she knows where it is, but only Denji will be able to fight it, as the devil will likely use Meowie as a shield. Denji says he used to have a pet named Pochita. He can't pet him anymore, but he's fine because Pochita lives on in his heart. Power says that humans are foolish, and that just means Pochita died, that, living in the heart, talk is just miserable self-comfort. Thinking about his goal, Denji decides not to argue with her but believes he'll never get along with her. Meanwhile, Makima meets with the higher-ups, who mention that other countries are using devils in the military. They hope that in the future, Japan's only enemies will remain devils. They ask Makima how her squad is performing. She notes that one seems promising, and another she recently picked seems interesting. They remind her that her job is to raise and use them for work, so she must not get attached. Later, in the car, Aki says that Denji is disgusting and not interesting, and wonders why Makima has high hopes for him. Makima explains that all devils are born with names, and the more those names are feared, the more powerful the devil becomes. For example, coffee isn't considered very frightening, so a coffee devil would probably be weak. But a car devil might be strong, since it's easy to imagine being run over and dying. She says Denji can turn into the chainsaw devil, which seems pretty interesting to her. Aki still isn't convinced that Denji will be useful, as everyone in public safety has a real goal or motivation, while Denji just wants to live a good life and even thinks he can be friends with devils. Power and Denji reach the outskirts of the city, and Power points to a house, stating the devil who took Meowie is inside. While heading toward the house, Denji hopes he won't need to turn into chainsaws, but Power thinks he's joking. As they get close, Denji recalls that the devil will use the cat as a shield and questions why Power is so close. Power admits she said that but now says she misspoke. At that moment, they stop. In an instant, she creates a blood hammer. Denji tries to hit her with his axe, but she hits him first and knocks him out. She then remarks that, for an idiot, his instincts are sharp. Power drags Denji inside the house. A devil tells her he thought she had run away. Power says it took her a while to regain some freedom and that she brought him a human as he demanded. The Bat Devil picks up Denji, noting that since he's young, his blood will be full of vigor. Denji starts to wake up, and the Bat Devil shows him that he lost his arm, which forced him into hiding. Denji doesn't care, but the devil tells him that food shouldn't talk. By drinking human blood, he will heal the wounds he got from humans. He lifts Denji above his head and squeezes him, causing Denji to vomit some blood. However, as the Bat Devil drinks it, he finds it disgusting and throws Denji away. His arm regenerates, but due to the bad taste, the Bat Devil wants to cleanse it with another human. Denji looks at Power, who mocks him for believing her story. The Bat Devil looks toward the city but complains about the smell of cigarettes, makeup, and perfume. However, he finds a nice aroma and decides to eat some children. Power reminds him she brought a human as promised and asks for Meowie's release. The Bat Devil says he remembers, but he hasn't punished her for bringing nasty blood, and then swallows Meowie. Seeing this, Power remembers her days in the wild and how she met Meowie. After killing a bear, she found a barely alive cat and named her Meowie. She planned to fatten her up before eating her. She kept looking after the cat, feeding her, and waiting for the day she would eat her. One day, while lying on the roof of a house and hearing the cat meow, Power realized that she had killed everything she had ever met. Hearing something that isn't screaming was strange. Then the Bat Devil appeared and took Meowie. Injured, he told Power he needed blood, and if she wanted her cat back, she had to bring him a human. Seeing the Bat Devil swallow Meowie, Power turns to Denji and says she now understands how he feels not being able to pet Pochita, and it's an awful feeling. The Bat Devil then swallows her as well. He complains that she tasted bad too and says he needs to eat some children to feel better. He then flies toward the city, planning to eat children, a virgin, a beefy man, and a pregnant woman for dessert. At that moment, he notices Denji clinging to his leg, sucking his blood, demanding his breasts back. The devil is surprised to see this and captures Denji. Denji remembers a time when he woke up and couldn't find Pochita. He searched everywhere, fearing a devil had eaten him. But when he returned home, he found Pochita crying in the corner, waiting for him. Relieved, Denji fell asleep holding him. Denji wonders what Power felt when she tried to sleep, knowing the devil had Meowie. He then pulls the cord on his chest. As chainsaws erupt from his head, he cuts the devil's arms and frees himself, surprising the Bat Devil that he is also a devil. They crash into a building. Denji sees a woman and tells her to run. The Bat Devil wonders why he saved her, considering he's a devil. Denji punches him and begins to fight. As they battle, Denji spots more people and tells them to run. Seeing that, the Bat Devil picks up a car with a person inside and throws it at Denji, wondering if he will cut it. Denji catches the car and holds it, saying he doesn't care if he saves a guy or not, and throws the car back at the devil, hitting him in the face. The Bat Devil releases a shockwave from his mouth, blowing Denji away. He picks up the human from the car, planning to eat him and heal. But he still hears the chainsaws in the smoke and wonders how Denji is still alive. Angry, Denji says he's been waiting patiently, but he can't take it anymore. The Bat Devil gets scared and throws debris at Denji, telling him to stay away, but Denji slices through it with his chainsaws. The Bat Devil tries to punch him, but Denji cuts off his arm, jumps, and kills him, slicing his guts open. Power wakes up holding Meowie, being held by Denji, with the Bat Devil's intestines surrounding them. She wonders why Denji saved her, even though she attempted to kill him. He points at her chest and says he wants to touch her, but she thinks it's a foolish reason. She apologizes for deceiving him and, since Meowie is safe, she allows him to touch her. Denji gets excited and raises his arm, but it gets blown off at that moment. The Leech Devil then picks up his arm and eats it. Power is unable to move and tells Denji to take Meowie and run. Denji pulls the cord on his chest, but only a small chainsaw comes out, and he figures he must be low on blood. The Leech Devil guesses that Denji killed her partner, the Bat Devil. She finds Denji cute and her type, so she decides to let him go. However, she still intends to kill Power and Meowie. Hearing that, Denji prepares to fight. The Leech Devil states that if that's the case, he'll also be dying. As they start to fight, Denji runs around trying to dodge her attacks. Eventually, he manages to land a punch, but the Leech Devil pushes him back, saying he seems too weak to have killed the Bat Devil. She reveals that she and the Bat Devil shared a dream of killing all humans, a noble and romantic dream. Denji refuses to die before he is able to cop a feel. The Leech Devil finds his dream pathetic. Denji runs at her and manages to cut her neck with the small chainsaw on his head. He then rants about how everyone mocks his dream and boasts about how much better their dreams are. Growing more and more angry, he declares they should have a dream battle, and if he kills her, it would prove her dream was weaker than his. The Leech Devil mocks him, saying even his yelling is weak. Denji avoids her attacks, grabs an intestine, and wraps it around her, making her drop to her knees. The fight becomes more intense as they exchange blows, and Denji starts acting crazier. Eventually, he jumps at her, but she pierces his chest with her tongue, defeating him. As she is about to eat him, Aki shows up and uses Khan, summoning the Fox Devil, who eats the Leech Devil's head. The Fox Devil asks Aki for permission to swallow the Leech Devil, and Aki gives it. Aki confirms the extermination of the Leech Devil and orders the new Devil Hunters to do search and rescue. He then asks Himino, as a senior, to keep watch for more devils. Denji wakes up in the hospital, where Aki tells him they found his arm and it only needed a blood infusion to reattach. Denji notes that Aki looked quite friendly with the fox devil. Aki explains that devil hunters form contracts with devils in order to fight them. In exchange for power from the fox devil, Aki offered a bit of his body as food, in this case, some skin. Denji tries to reach for the apples Aki was cutting, but Aki pulls them away. Aki states that devils and fiends yearn for the death of humans. Denji says that power seems cool. Aki reveals they found them by following surveillance cameras, which led to a house where the bat devil supposedly was, and there was a lot of Denji's blood there. Aki guesses that Power tried to kill Denji, but he doesn't know why Denji is protecting her. Denji plays dumb and claims he doesn't know what happened. Aki recalls that there were reports of people wanting to thank the Chainsaw Devil for saving them. He tells Denji that if he keeps digging, he'll have to write a report that could lead to Power's disposal along with Denji for covering for her. However, since there were no fatalities, if Denji accepts one condition, Aki will forget about it. Aki pushes the apples toward Denji and asks him to listen to him so he can continue his current lifestyle. While eating the apple, Denji agrees and says he may not have a big dream or be as serious as Aki, but Aki can count on him. Outside the hospital room, Power is waiting with Himino. As Aki leaves, Power states he should have gotten confirmation from Denji that she is innocent. Himino notes that if Aki releases her and she kills someone, it will be his responsibility. Aki releases Power and states they are devil hunters, and if devils and fiends are useful, they will use them against their enemies. In the evening, Aki visits Makima at headquarters and reports about Denji and Power. He explains that while patrolling, they went outside the patrol zone and discovered a house they believed had a devil inside. He states Denji eliminated the Bat Devil, the Leech Devil attacked Denji, but Division 4 exterminated it. He also confirms they did not find any gun flesh in either of the devils. Makima thanks him for the report but notes that Denji and Power managed to get quite far without anyone noticing. Aki says they can overlook it since there were no fatalities and 2 devils were eliminated. Makima accepts it but comments that Aki seems more flexible now and wonders if it's because of Denji's influence. Aki denies having changed. In the morning, Aki wakes up, washes up, makes himself coffee, and sits on the balcony. Denji wakes up afterward and goes to the bathroom. While Denji eats breakfast, Aki starts doing house chores. Later, Aki begins preparing curry for lunch. Aki and Denji hear someone knocking violently on the door. When they check, they see Power break the door and enter. Power says their place looks pitiful. Aki gets a call from Makima, who tells him she wants to put Power under his care too, just like Denji. She assures him that Power promised to behave. The 3 are about to eat lunch, but seeing vegetables on her plate, Power picks them up and throws them away, saying she doesn't like the food. Both Denji and Aki scold her for misbehaving and wasting food, but she doesn't care. Power then clogs the toilet, saying she doesn't like flushing every time, and only likes to bathe occasionally. As Denji and Aki complain, she finds them absurd and delicate. While Denji is trying to unclog the toilet, Power comes and points at her chest, signaling a grab. She says she is fulfilling her promise and will let him touch her. She sits on the toilet and tells him he has 3 squeezes, 1 for saving Meowie, 1 for killing the Bat Devil, and 1 for protecting her from Aki. She originally did not intend to allow him, but she changed her mind. Excited, Denji thinks she is an angel. Power lets Denji get a feel, but he feels strange, and something feels off. Power reveals she's using pads to make her breasts look bigger and lets him touch her 2 more times. She then boosts her chest again, and it must have felt good for her as she leaves the bathroom. Denji is left dumbstruck, wondering if that was all there was to it. The next day, Denji doesn't have an appetite. He goes on patrol with Power but is totally spaced out and unmotivated. Later in the office, he signs some documents Makima gives him. She notices he's feeling down and asks what's on his mind. Denji explains he got what he always wanted, but it didn't feel as good as he expected. He wonders if, in the future, when he wants something, the process of getting it will feel better than actually having it. Makima asks what he means, and Denji tells her that he touched a woman's breast for the first time, and it didn't feel that great. Makima takes his hand and tells him that in cases like this, it feels better the more you know the person. While playing with his hand, she tells him to notice the other person's hand, the length of their fingers, if their hand is cold or warm, and the shape of their ears. She then bites his finger and asks if someone has ever bitten him before. She tells him to remember the feeling, so even if he can't see, he'll know it's her from the way she bites. Makima then places his hand on her chest. After a moment, Denji panics and falls onto his back. Makima tells him that she has a request. She wants him to defeat the Gun Devil. She explains the Gun Devil appeared 13 years ago in America, but its current location is unknown. It's a powerful devil that every devil hunter dreams of defeating. She believes Denji is special and that he can kill it, and if he does, she'll grant him one wish. Denji gets excited, realizing he can ask for anything, even something dirty. Makima shares that when devils appeared, people started using more guns, which caused more conflicts and made people even more afraid of guns. Then, during a massive terrorist attack in America, the Gun Devil appeared. During the attack, a young boy named Aki wanted to play catch with his father. His father refused because Aki's brother, Teo, wasn't feeling well, and told Aki to go play alone. Teo decides to go outside with Aki anyway. Aki, annoyed, throws a snowball at Teo and tells him not to follow him. Teo throws one back. They throw several snowballs at each other. Teo's hands start freezing, so Aki, not wanting his brother to catch a cold, tells him to go inside and get his gloves so they can play catch later. After Teo goes back inside, their house is suddenly blown away. Makima explains that the Gun Devil killed 1.2 million people in 5 minutes and then disappeared. After that, people's fear of devils grew, making the devils stronger. To reduce the Gun Devil's power, a law was passed banning guns and limiting news about gun-related incidents. Denji says if he tries his best, he should be able to defeat the Gun Devil. Makima says the first step is to find the Gun Devil. She shows some bullets, which are actually pieces of the Gun Devil's flesh. Because the Gun Devil moves so fast, parts of its body get burned and fall off. When another devil eats a piece, it gains power from the Gun Devil. These flesh pieces attract each other and, when collected, point back to the Gun Devil's body. Meanwhile, Aki finds another piece after killing the Fish Devil, who had eaten it. Public Safety receives a new mission. A devil was spotted at Hotel Morin, and several civil devil hunters died trying to kill it. There's a chance the devil inside the hotel has eaten one of the Gun Devil's pieces. 6 devil hunters, including Denji, are sent to deal with it. In front of the hotel, Aki holds a piece of the Gun Devil and confirms the devil inside has eaten a part, as his piece is reacting. Denji wonders if it's the Gun Devil himself, but Aki disagrees, saying the reaction would have been stronger. Hirokazu doesn't trust Power and Denji. Aki tells him not to worry, as they'll be the first to engage the devil, and if they run away, they can kill them. Denji and Power joke that Aki is mad about their morning prank, but Aki says it wasn't even a prank. Himino tells Aki not to be too hard on the kids. Denji complains that he didn't rest after fighting the Bat Devil and wants a reward. Himino says whoever kills the devil will get a kiss on the cheek from her. Denji gets excited but remembers his moment with Makima. He says he's already decided who he wants to kiss and that such things only feel good when you know the person. Since he doesn't even know Himino's name, he's not interested in her kiss. Himino then ups the stakes and says she'll give him a French kiss if he kills the devil. Denji gets super motivated and rushes into the hotel. Hirokazu follows, determined to stop him, saying Himino has taken care of him for 6 months and he doesn't want a random guy stealing her lips. He says it's better if he gets the kiss. Power and Kobeni join in the argument. Aki wonders if the new recruits are reliable. Himino tells Aki not to die. In a flashback at a graveyard, Kishibe introduces Himino to her new partner, Aki. Himino asks if he's useful, and Aki says probably. She tells him he's her 6th partner, all the previous ones died because they were garbage. She tells Aki not to die. Back in the present, the hunters continue exploring the hotel. Himino tells Aki that the devil is coming. A door opens, and a grotesque head with a hand and a foot jumps at Kobeni. Himino uses her devil to stop it. Power forms a sword from her blood and slices the head in half. Power boasts that the devil froze in fear of her, but Himino explains it was her own power that stopped it. Himino has a contract with the ghost devil, giving up her right eye in exchange for using the devil's right hand. Since this isn't the devil they're looking for, they move to the next floor. Power asks if Himino is okay revealing her power if she plans to fight her someday. Himino says it's fine and that she still has an ace up her sleeve. Power asks what she'll do if she kills Kobeni. Himino grabs Power with the ghost devil and says she can kill her anytime. Power tries to grab the ghost's arm but can't, since it's intangible. On the next floor, Hirokazu sees a blood splatter, identical to one they saw on a previous floor. He checks the room label and realizes they are still on the 8th floor instead of the 9th. He goes downstairs but reappears from upstairs, implying they are trapped. As Hirokazu comes from upstairs and goes downstairs, the devil hunters realize something is wrong. Himino asks Kobeni to make the peace sign and not move. Himino then goes downstairs but ends up coming out from upstairs again. Aki enters one of the rooms and notices that on the other side of the window is another room. He goes into it and then leaves through the door but finds himself on the same 8th floor, opposite the room he just entered. Denji confirms this too, saying that the room on the other side of the windows leads directly across. Aki realizes they are stuck on the 8th floor. They attempt many things but eventually conclude that it must be a devil's trick. They can't leave the 8th floor by going up or down the stairs. The windows lead to the rooms across, and the elevators don't work. Even going through the ceiling results in ending up back on the 8th floor. Denji blames Power for killing the head demon, thinking it might have sealed them before dying, but she says he made her do it. Denji denies this. Aki explains that can't be true because a devil's power disappears when it dies. Himino says it's the first time she's seen a devil use such tricks. Hirokazu hopes other devil hunters will come to help them, but Himino worries they might fall into the same trap. Kobeni starts crying, saying they'll all die. She explains that she was forced to become a sex worker or a devil hunter because her family needed money to send her smart brother to university. Power laughs at her, which only worsens the mood. Aki notices all the clocks have stopped at 8:18 and guesses the devil is able to stop time on the 8th floor. This likely means no one will come to rescue them. Denji gets excited since that means he can sleep as much as he wants. Hirokazu calls him an idiot because they might be stuck there forever. Denji says that may or may not be true and tells them to wake him when they figure it out. Later, Himino wakes Denji and tells him they discovered that the water supply and electricity are still working. They also found food left behind by fleeing customers. Aki refuses to rest and continues searching for the devil. Hirokazu was supposed to accompany him but got too scared and locked himself in a room. Kobeni went crazy, even trying to drink from the toilet, and Himino had to knock her out. Power, having nothing better to do, dreams about winning the Nobel Prize. She imagines that humans will treat her like a god, and she'll become prime minister and raise the consumption tax to 100%. Denji says Power is always like that, so Himino relaxes. While watching over Hirokazu and Kobeni, Himino lights her last cigarette. Denji notices it's the same brand Aki smokes. Himino explains that she taught him how to smoke. In a flashback, Himino asks Aki if he smokes, but he says it's bad for his health. Himino guesses he became a devil hunter to kill the gun devil. Since devil hunters die young, she says it doesn't matter if cigarettes are harmful. Aki says he won't die easily, and Himino hopes he's right, since it's too painful when a teammate dies. Later, Aki sees a woman slap Himino. She explains the woman was the girlfriend of a former teammate. Since families can't take it out on the devil, they take it out on devil hunters. Aki follows the woman and puts gum in her hair. He tells Himino she should fight back when people hurt her. Himino is surprised but laughs. During dinner, Himino offers Aki a cigarette, saying that if they're going to be teammates, he should start smoking. Aki accepts and says it will be his only cigarette in life. Back on the 8th floor, Aki asks Himino if she has a cigarette. She tells him she's currently smoking her last one. He approaches and asks for it, and she gives it to him. Denji teases them about an indirect kiss, but they ignore him. Aki then reveals bad news: the devil they killed is growing bigger. They hear noises in the hallway and find it blocked by a pile of flesh with eyes and arms. The devil calls them stupid humans and offers a contract. It wants to eat Denji, dead or alive, in exchange for letting the others go. Kobeni emerges holding a knife and tells Denji to let the devil eat him. She rushes at him, but Aki disarms her and Himino knocks her out. Aki tries to summon the fox devil, but it doesn't work, likely because the area is completely sealed off. The fox devil is in Kyoto. Himino uses her ghost devil, which eats parts of the devil, causing it to scream in pain, but it only grows larger. The devil reveals that its heart isn't there, this is only its stomach. It asks them again to make a contract. Denji thinks the devil will still kill everyone, but Himino explains that devils must honor contracts or they die. Hirokazu suggests killing Denji, but Aki refuses, realizing that the devil must benefit from Denji's death. Himino also refuses, but Power is okay with killing Denji, claiming that if she can't leave, she can't win her Nobel Prize. Aki reminds her that fiends can't make contracts, so the devil won't have to keep its word if she kills Denji. They continue to argue. Aki says he'll use his sword if necessary, but Himino forbids it. Denji wonders why, and Himino says she'd rather kill him than let Aki use the sword, which will shorten his life. Hirokazu sees all the food is gone. Power is chewing something but blames Denji for eating it. Kobeni appears again and blames Powers for trapping them. When Hirokazu tries to calm her down, she accuses him of being a spy for the devil. Power agrees for fun, but Hirokazu denies it. Kobeni approaches him aggressively, scaring him. Meanwhile, the devil continues to grow and chases Aki, Himino, and Denji. It declares it is the Eternity Devil and says only it can kill Chainsaw. Hirokazu and Kobeni yell at Aki and Himino to kill Denji. Aki prepares to use his sword, but Himino restrains him with her devil. She explains that using the sword will help them escape, but it will shorten his life. She can't allow that. Hirokazu jumps on Denji while Kobeni tries to stab him, but Aki protects Denji with his body and is stabbed instead. Aki says he doesn't care if Denji dies, but Denji wants to kill the gun devil, and Aki can't do it alone. Even if it shortens his life, he needs as many devil hunters as possible and won't let Denji die. Denji asks Power if she can stop Aki's bleeding. She explains she can control her own blood, but controlling someone else's is hard. Still, she doesn't want Aki to die, since he's the one who cooks for her. Seeing Aki's condition, Himino loses her composure, wondering what they'll do. Kobeni blames Denji, saying everything could have been avoided if he let the devil eat him. Denji decides to let the devil eat him, but he'll fight it first, and if he gets the chance, he'll kill it. He reminds Himino not to forget her promise about a kiss. Denji believes the devil fears the chainsaw, which is why it's begging them to kill him. Since it screamed in pain when Himino attacked it, Denji plans to give it hell and force it to kill itself. He's annoyed that Aki got hurt for him, but says once they're out, they'll be even. He pulls his cord and jumps into the hallway, ready to fight the Eternity Devil. Denji pulls his cord and jumps towards the Eternity Devil. He fights him, slashing and cutting everything he can see, but he also receives injuries from the devil, who adds that it's pointless to cut him as his heart isn't there. Power adds that if Denji keeps losing blood, his chainsaw will retract. The Eternity Devil laughs at Denji, stating that the chainsaw has become weaker. Due to the loss of blood, Denji's chainsaw arms retract, but he bites the Eternity Devil and drinks its blood. He notes that even bad-tasting blood tastes good when he sees the agony of the Eternity Devil. Seeing Denji's crazy fight, Himino recalls a conversation with Kishibe at Sahara's grave. He tells her that devils fear the devil hunters with a few screws loose. Sahara was quite sane, which is why he died. The same with Kanochi, Subaru, and Sasaki. Sane people fear the devil's attack, and that fear makes the devil stronger. Kishibe asks if Aki is also sane, but Himino states that no sane person would try killing the gun devil. Later, Himino asks Aki if he wants to become a civilian devil hunter with her. She explains she got a good offer and they can keep their lifestyle. Aki is fine continuing to meet up, but he is not interested in being a civilian devil hunter. Himino is sure that if Aki fights the gun devil, he will die because he is cool, gentle, and normal, like everyone else. The Eternity Devil knocks Denji down and believes it won. Himino pulls his cord with her ghost devil arm. Denji then stands up and states he got an idea. If he keeps cutting him and drinking its blood, then that's a perpetual motion machine. Seeing how crazy Denji is, Himino starts to believe he may be able to kill the gun devil. 3 days later, Denji is still fighting the Eternity Devil. Himino goes to Aki and lies with him in bed, telling him it's over. The Eternity Devil exposes its weakness, saying it's his heart, and asks Denji to kill it as it can no longer bear the pain. Denji is surprised it's already over, but cuts the devil and kills it. The devil hunters leave the hotel. Denji holds a gun devil's piece. As he feels good, he ends up falling, but Himino catches him and realizes he fell asleep. Himino states that they will take Aki and Denji to the hospital, and Kobeni and Hirokazu should report to the sector. Sometime later, Himino speaks with Aki and wants to have a newbie welcome party. She explains that Division 4 has never gathered together before, and they can use it to bond. They also may be able to solve the problem that Kobeni and Hirokazu want to leave. Not only do they fear the devils, but they also likely regret that they tried to kill Denji. Aki states if they are doing it, it has to be this week, since he wants to invite Makima too, who will be going on a work trip next week. Himino wonders what Denji is, as the devil seemed to know something about him. She also wonders why Makima cares so much about Denji. Usually, Makima travels a lot, but lately, she is staying in Tokyo, and Himino wonders if it's because of Denji and if she knows his secret. Division 4 gathers for a drink. Aki notes that Fushir didn't bring his fiend, but Fushir states it's not as rational as power. Kobeni arrives a bit late, and Makima says she will come later. While looking at the menu, Denji recalls his promised kiss from Himino, and she states she will give him one when she gets a bit more drunk. The newbies introduce themselves, and Denji reveals he is 16 and loves eating and sleeping. Hirokazu reveals he is 22 years old, he has a contract with the Fox Devil, and his hobby is haiku. Denji notes that he has the same devil contract as Aki, who explains that the Fox Devil is friendly with humans and has lots of contracts with devil hunters. Himino adds that only the handsome people can use the Fox Devil's head. Kobeni then introduces herself, being 20, but her devil contract is a secret. She also likes eating tasty food. They ask Fushir where his newbie is, and Fushir reveals he died yesterday. They explain that the devils that can't be handled by civilian devil hunters are passed to public safety, and people die easily. Himino states that Denji won't die, as he is waiting for a kiss from her. Denji gets excited that he will be getting a guaranteed kiss. Makima shows up and overhears Denji and wonders if he will be kissing anyone. Denji denies it. Himino then wonders if he no longer wants her kiss, but Denji states he does want it. Denji is then torn, not wanting Makima to see him kiss Himino, but he really wants a French kiss from Himino. He decides to change the subject and tells Makima that he found a gun devil's piece, but she had already heard about it. Aki adds that more devils with gun devil's pieces are appearing and one even targeted Denji. He wonders if Makima knows something about Denji. Makima states she will tell him if he can outdrink her. Himino decides to join them, and the three start drinking beer after beer. One of the members is impressed that Power can suppress her violent urges. Power states it's because she has a very high IQ. The member is surprised and asks what her IQ is. Power states it's 100, but as the member says she has the same, Power then changes her IQ to 120. The member notes that Fushir has a high IQ, and he reveals it's 134. Power then claims her IQ is 500 or 1000. Himino then turns and starts kissing Denji. He gets excited, feeling her tongue, but then feels something else. He realizes that Himino is throwing up in his mouth. Everyone sees them and starts to laugh. Power adds that Denji has the habit of swallowing anything with nutrition in his mouth, and in that moment Denji ends up swallowing the vomit. Denji recalls his younger days while looking in the trash cans for food. As he eats anything he finds, he sees some rats eating a drunk guy's vomit and laughs. It must be quite shameful. Denji is vomiting in the bathroom. Hirokazu is helping him and notes he is good at it because his mother got drunk each day after work. He is envious of Denji, as unlike him, Hirokazu has no talent for being a devil hunter. Denji tells him to look at him, his first kiss was with vomit, and there is nothing to envy. After the meeting, Himino takes Denji as he is unable to walk home. He ends up waking up at night wanting water. Himino gets on him and gives him some beer with her mouth. She wonders why Denji is there and if she brought him here. Denji feels sick and dizzy. Himino guesses he loves Makima. She is annoyed that he and Aki both like Makima. She then lies next to him and tells him they should do it. Himino takes Denji to her place and puts him on her bed. She then goes to take a shower and afterward opens a beer. She hears Denji waking up and asking for water, so she goes and gives him beer through her mouth. Himino then wonders why Denji is there and if she brought him home. She guesses that Denji loves Makima and feels a bit annoyed since Aki also loves her. She lies next to Denji and tells him they should do it. Denji wonders what she means, and Himino clarifies that she means sex. She tells him to raise his hands and starts taking off his shirt. Denji wonders if it's really okay, considering his first kiss was supposed to be with Makima, but instead he gave it to Himino, who vomited in his mouth. He questions whether he wants his first time to be taken by Himino too, but quickly confirms it to himself. Himino proceeds to take off his pants but finds a Chupa Chups in his pocket. Seeing the Chupa Chups, Denji recalls an earlier moment when he wasn't feeling well because of the vomit, and Makima told him to go outside for fresh air. Makima brought him some nausea medicine. Denji told her that he had a bad first kiss and even if he kisses a different woman now, he will think of the taste of vomit. Makima, licking a Chupa Chups, pulled it out and put it into Denji's mouth. She told him that while he probably won't forget the taste of vomit, he will experience all kinds of first tastes. For example, his first indirect kiss tastes like a cola-flavored Chupa Chups. Himino has already fallen asleep while Denji lies on the floor next to the bed. He looks at the Chupa Chups and apologizes to Pochita, saying he wants to save his first time for Makima. In the morning, Himino wakes Denji up. While they eat breakfast, she says she doesn't remember anything from the night before and wonders if she did anything to Denji. He tells her that he won't do it with the vomit lady, and is saving his first time for Makima. Himino is relieved, saying she could be arrested for doing it with a minor. After a moment, she says Denji is strange because most people would have felt uncomfortable and left by now. Denji doesn't understand why he would leave when there's free food. Himino guesses that he loves Makima and wonders if he would still love her even if she had a bad personality. When Denji confirms, Himino decides to help him get closer to Makima. She proposes a secret alliance. She will help him with Makima while Denji helps her with Aki. Denji agrees, and Himino says they are no longer senior and junior but friends. She invites him to come sometimes for breakfast with Aki and Power. Denji wonders if Makima would come too. Meanwhile, Makima is on the train heading to Kyoto to meet with her bosses. She doesn't really want to meet them since she finds them scary and wants to buy a lunchbox. In a tunnel, just before Kyoto, the men sitting in front of and behind her pull out guns and shoot her along with her assistant. The men then make a call and say they can start the operation. Division 4 members are all out on different missions, but all of them are attacked. Denji, Himino, Aki, and Power are eating at a ramen shop. Denji hears gunshots, but Power says it was drums. A man nearby is shocked that Denji is eating ramen so casually and wonders how it doesn't taste bad. Denji says it tastes fine to him, but the man adds that Denji can't properly judge food since he only ate one type of meal growing up. The man says his grandfather was the nicest person and used to take him to fancy restaurants. Though he was a Yakuza, he was a necessary evil who only killed a few women and children. He then pulls out a picture of himself with his grandfather, who turns out to be the Yakuza that used to hire Denji as a devil hunter. The man explains that the gun devil wants Denji's heart and then suddenly shoots Denji in the head. He continues shooting at the others, but Power punches him and Aki summons the fox devil, which eats the men. Aki looks around and sees that both Denji and Himino have been shot. The fox devil says that something monstrous was inside the men, something neither human nor devil. The men then transform similarly to Denji, but instead of chainsaws, he has swords. He bursts out of the fox devil's mouth. Aki pulls out his sword and tells Power to stop Himino's bleeding. Power is surprised to see that Aki's sword is actually a large nail. As the katana man stands, Aki pierces him with his sword, and a devil counts 3. They begin to fight, and Aki pierces him a second time, 2. He immediately pierces him again, 1. The man pushes Aki away, but Aki calls upon the cursed devil to kill him. The cursed devil appears, says 0, and kills the man. Aki checks on Himino, and Power says she needs to be taken to the hospital. Aki mentions that only police and devil hunters can have guns in Japan. A mysterious woman appears, guessing that Aki's nail kills people after a few strikes. Aki wonders who she is and whether she was an ally of the men. She places her hand on the katana man and revives him. When she asks how he lost, he says he let his guard down. She tells him to go and kill again. Katana man takes a stance and slashes past Aki in an instant. Seeing that Aki is still alive, she tells Katana man to finish him off. Himino tells Power to help Aki, but Power refuses, saying she couldn't even see the attack. Himino then calls the ghost devil, but the devil says the woman is scary. Coughing up blood and realizing her end is near, Himino offers her entire self to the ghost devil in exchange for its full power. The ghost devil accepts and appears completely, engaging Katana men in battle. Himino reflects on how devil hunters get used to death and stop crying, but Aki always cries when his teammates die. She says it must feel good to be cared for. As she loses both arms, the ghost devil gains the upper hand. Himino tells Aki not to die, and when she dies, she hopes he will cry for her. Katana man asks for help, and the woman summons the snake devil, which bites off the ghost devil's head. The ghost devil is defeated. Aki turns to Himino but sees that only her clothes remain. Akane uses the snake devil to kill the ghost devil. Katana man tells her that the fiend ran away, but she replies that their target is Chainsaw's heart, so they don't need to go after her. A hand from the ghost devil then reaches out and pulls Denji's cord, reviving his chainsaw. Denji turns into Chainsaw Man and assumes they are bad guys, noting that he loves bad guys because no one complains when he kills them. Denji then jumps and engages Katana Men in a fight. Akane reports that they are in combat with Chainsaw on the 3rd floor of the West Naraima building and requests backup. Katana Man and Denji fight and appear to be evenly matched. 2 men arrive to support Katana Man, and he instructs them to shoot at Denji's arms or heart. However, Denji knocks them down before they can shoot. One of the men still manages to shoot at Denji, who then takes him hostage, warning Katana Man not to move or he will kill the man. Katana Man kneels, getting into his attack stance, and in an instant, cuts Denji and his comrade in half. He then picks up Denji by the handle on his head and turns back to normal, stating that the Devil Hunter agents should be dead by now, as they can't win against guns. Elsewhere, Hirokazu Arai, Fushire, and other Division 4 members, including Makima, have been shot dead. Makima's train is almost at Kyoto, and the men who shot her prepare to blend in with the crowd. However, Makima suddenly stands up. At the Kyoto train station, Yutaro Kuroz and Michiko Tendo wait for the train. A man approaches them and informs them that Special Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4 were ambushed in Tokyo. Yutaro and Michiko wonder about Makima and if they waited for nothing. The train arrives, and people run out in fear. Makima steps out and tells them she came under gunfire and there are bodies that need to be cleaned up. Since she is covered in blood, they ask if she was shot, but she denies it, stating it's not her blood. Inside the train, all her attackers are dead. Yutaro and Michiko tell Makima about the situation in Tokyo and suggest she should return. Makima says they won't make it in time and assumes the attackers are likely after Denji. She decides to handle the situation from Kyoto and asks Yutaro to borrow 30 convicts serving life sentences or worse. Makima also asks Michiko to rent out a nearby shrine at the highest altitude possible and to get her some clean clothes. The convicts are gathered and fed while being transported. They wonder where they are going but are told to stay quiet. At the shrine, Makima changes into fresh clothes. Michiko informs her that the convicts are almost there. Moments later, the convicts are dropped at the bottom of the stairs leading to the shrine. Katana Man tells Akane he won't be able to fight for a while. Some of his comrades are carrying Denji. One of them sees a crow and says something feels off. As they wonder what he means, the man is crushed to death. Akane immediately contacts Team E and asks to reconfirm if Makima is dead. A member from Team E responds that he hasn't been able to contact Team C, and in that moment, he too is crushed to death. At the shrine, Makima, Michiko, Yutaro, and the convicts all wear blindfolds. Yutaro wonders why they need blindfolds, and Michiko explains that Makima reports directly to the Chief Cabinet Secretary, and ordinary devil hunters aren't authorized to know which devils she has contracts with. Makima walks to one of the convicts and tells him to repeat the name, Shuzo Mishima. As the convict repeats the name, Makima makes hand signs. Katanaman tells his comrade, Mishima, to get Denji in the car. As Makima finishes the hand signs, Mishima is crushed to death, and the convict also dies. Makima then moves to another convict and asks him to say, Takashi Inoue. As the name is repeated, another comrade of Katanaman is crushed to death. The rest of Katanaman's comrades panic and try to run, but Makima kills them one by one. She leaves Katanaman and Akane alive and tells Michiko and Yutaro to remove their blindfolds. As they do, they see all the convicts are dead. Makima explains that she did what she could from there and is now returning to Tokyo. Akane guesses the killings were done by Makima. Katanaman and Akane then see Kobeni approaching. Earlier, a granny shot Hirokazu in the neck from behind. Hirokazu turns around and is shot again in the head, a bullet meant for Kobeni. Holding a knife and radio like Akane's, Kobeni realizes they are the attackers. Akane sacrifices a nail to summon the snake devil's tail, but Kobeni dodges and runs along it. Katanaman starts shooting at her, but she gets close and cuts off his arm. Kobeni then takes the gun and shoots Katanaman in the back. Akane grabs a gun too, but Kobeni quickly picks up Denji and uses him as a shield. Akane then pulls Katanaman into the van and escapes. Holding Denji, Kobeni apologizes for trying to kill him the last time. She laughs and cries, recalling Hirokazu's death and how she got close to the granny and killed her with her own gun. Kobeni says Hirokazu protected her and blames herself for his death. She feels the job is making her go crazy and says that when she meets Himino, she will tell her that she quits. Makima, Michiko, and Yutaro arrive in Tokyo and meet Madoka at the station. Makima is glad he survived and asks how many others did. Madoka explains that Special Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4 came under fire, and almost all the humans were killed. Due to a personnel shortage, all 4 special divisions will merge into one, and Tokyo Special Division 4 will now be under Makima's control. Madoka hands her a letter of resignation, saying the situation is becoming too sinister and it's either quit or die. Before leaving, Madoka asks Makima one final question: how much of this did she anticipate? Makima replies that she can't discuss public safety's internal affairs with civilians and thanks him for his service. Yutaro and Michiko clarify that they are not joining her division and are only there as advisors. They will return to Kyoto in 1 week. Makima replies that it's a shame, as Tokyo has many great restaurants. Aki wakes up in a hospital bed and sees Denji and Power sitting next to him, reading manga. Power notices Denji eating an apple and demands one, but Denji refuses, saying she ran away and doesn't deserve it. Power lies, claiming she was hungry and that's why she left, but Denji doesn't believe her, and they continue arguing. Aki asks who else survived from Division 4. Denji reveals that Kobeni survived, and the guy with glasses did too, but he quit. Denji explains that Makima called for him and Power, and they'll be splitting up with Aki. Before leaving, Denji takes the basket of apples but decides to leave one for Aki. After that, Aki picks up his sword and asks the Cursed Devil how many years he has left. The Cursed Devil tells him he has 2 years remaining. Aki takes a cigarette, and as he lights it, he remembers Himino and starts crying. Denji, having forgotten his manga, returns to the room and finds Aki crying. He understands why. Aki lost many friends, including Himino. Remembering her, Denji wonders why he doesn't cry for her. He was sad when Pochita died. Himino was the first to offer to be friends with him, but he doesn't feel sad for her. Denji then wonders if he would cry if Power died, but guesses no, not for her or Aki. He thinks about Makima and guesses that if she died, he'd feel down for a few days but would continue with his happy life. Denji wonders if he has lost his human heart, but moments later, decides not to think about serious stuff. After Denji and Power leave, Michiko and Yutaro visit Aki and introduce themselves as advisors sent by Makima. Denji and Power meet up with Makima at a cemetery. She tells them that the hotel incident and recent attack prove the enemies are after Denji. Denji wonders if Makima will train them, but she explains she's busy and will introduce someone perfect for the job. She takes them to meet Himino's master, Kishibe, who first asks them a few questions. Kishibe asks how they felt when their teammates died and if they want revenge. Denji and Power say they didn't think much of it and aren't interested in revenge. He then asks if they're on the side of humans or devils. Denji says he's on the side that takes care of him, while Power says she's on the side of whoever is winning. Kishibe tells Makima to leave as their training begins. He reveals he is a devil hunter from Division 1 and tells them to call him Master. He says he likes booze, women, and killing devils. He hugs them and suddenly snaps their necks, leaving them immobilized. He explains that while they have human-like bodies, they can recover by drinking blood. After reviving them with blood, Denji asks why he did that. Kishibe explains Makima asked him to train them because the gun devil wants Denji's heart, and she's worried Denji is weak. Kishibe says he's the strongest devil hunter, so the devil who defeats him must be the strongest too. He will keep hunting Denji and Power until they defeat him. Denji and Power think he's crazy. As Kishibe approaches, Power creates a blood hammer and gives it to Denji. In an instant, Kishibe stabs Denji several times and slashes Power's throat. He notes that Denji is immortal while Power is semi-immortal, and all they think about is smashing heads. Kishibe says he always wanted a toy he couldn't break and intends to turn them into the best. Back at the hospital, Aki tries to summon the Fox Devil, but it doesn't appear. Yutaro explains it's because Aki overused its power and angered it. He also mentions Aki can only use the Cursed Devil a few more times. Aki then realizes why they're there. Michiko and Yutaro explain they do career coaching and ask if Aki is considering quitting after the incident. They say it's fine if he wants to continue, but he needs to be more prepared and make a contract with a stronger devil. Aki says the one who killed his family and friends is still alive, so he can't quit. The two leave, stating they'll return tomorrow with paperwork. A woman then enters, surprising Aki. At night, Kishibe tells a beat-up Denji and Power that he's leaving and will meet them tomorrow at their place. Denji collapses and starts drooling. Power realizes his brain broke again and starts hitting him to bring him back. Denji regains his senses and asks how many times he was killed today. Power guesses at least 20 times but admits she went unconscious before him, so she's not sure. As they walk home, Denji feels unhappy living like that. Power suggests they run away, but Denji says public safety would hunt them down. He's annoyed by how strong Kishibe is. Power gets an idea. Kishibe's brain is rotten from alcohol, so they should use their brains to fight him. Denji likes the idea and wants to be like the smart characters in manga. The next day, Denji and Power wear glasses to look smarter and wait for Kishibe. As he approaches the door, Power throws a blood spear through it, but Kishibe dodges. She then releases bottles of blood turned into spears from above, but Kishibe evades again. He breaks all the spears, and Denji jumps from the upper floor with an axe. Kishibe quickly turns and kicks Denji, knocking off his glasses. Kishibe notes it was their best attempt and tells them to use their brains more. He says they failed for two reasons: Power used too much blood and became anemic, and Denji couldn't predict Kishibe's attack. He congratulates them and says training is done for the day. Denji tells Power, and she feels lucky. As Denji tries to stand, Kishibe throws a knife at his head, reminding him that prey shouldn't trust the hunter. Michiko and Yutaro take Aki to a special facility, explaining that making a contract with a strong devil will come with brutal terms. They walk through cells where public safety keeps captured devils. Yutaro recalls seeing the girl who visited Aki and wonders if she's his girlfriend. Aki explains she's his teammate's sister. Yutaro asks if she hit him, but Aki says no, she brought Himeno's letters and said Aki should read them too. In the letters, Himeno writes about trying to make Aki quit. They take him to cell 108 and tell him the devil inside is the future devil. Two people have contracts with him, one gave half their lifespan, and another gave up their eyes, and sense of taste and smell. Aki enters the cell to face the future devil. Aki enters the cell of the future devil, who keeps repeating the word future, and wants Aki to say it too. However, Aki ignores him and explains that he is there to form a contract with him and asks what he wants in return. The future devil notes that Aki has a bad attitude. He wants to see Aki's future and then decide if he wants to form a contract. He tells Aki to stick his head into his gut. Aki is surprised but still does it. After a few moments, the future devil laughs and states he wants to live in Aki's right eye, and in return, he will grant him his power. The future devil states that Aki's face is asking if that's all and explains it's because Aki's death in the future is incredible. He starts to tell him how he will die, but Aki stops him, not wanting to listen, and tells him to enter his eye. Kishibe beats Denji and Power once again. He congratulates them on their effort and notes that they no longer need to train every day but only once a week. He tells them to keep their heads cool and not forget what weapons they have. Kishibe explains they will now begin live combat training as they prepare to attack the Snake Devil Woman and Katana Man. Everyone from the new Division 4 will be involved, but if they fail, the division will be dissolved, and Denji and Power will be disposed of for real by Kishibe. Denji says that if it comes to that, he will show mercy and spare Kishibe's life for making him stronger. Later, Kishibe meets with Makima, who hopes he will continue training Denji and Power. Kishibe says he is already tired of them and that each time the dogs he trains end up dying, he drinks more. He guesses that won't happen with toys, but due to his age, he's starting to get attached. Kishibe is sure that public safety wasn't clueless about the attack on the divisions and asks Makima if she knew about it. He states he doesn't care about her plans or how many of his dogs die, as long as she is serving mankind's interests. Makima states she wants to save as many people as possible from the devils. If the operation is successful, Division 4's existence will become part of the public record. That way, they will have more freedom and be able to save more people. Kishibe then calls her a liar. Katana Man and Akane Sawatari are in their hideout with other men. Akane mentions that even if they run, there is no place safe for Makima. She tells the other men that even if Katana Man dies, he can be brought back to life, but the rest of them need to be careful not to get bitten. They wonder what she means, and Katana Man explains that they have a secret weapon left by his grandfather, an army of zombies made from people who couldn't pay their debts. Yutaro hears that Aki is after the gun devil and asks if he really believes he can take him down, considering he just lost to another person. Yutaro reveals that he, too, joined public safety due to a grudge against the gun devil, but he isn't trying to kill him because it's impossible. Looking at Aki pisses Yutaro off, as he finds him weak, yet Aki acts like someone important. Aki doesn't care what they say and tells them to sit back and watch. If he ends up dead, they can laugh at him. After dropping Aki at public safety, Yutaro gives him a drink and says that even if he's annoying, he's still rooting for him. He gives him advice, saying that everyone in the special division is crazy, so Aki must stay alert. Makima meets with the current Yakuza boss connected to Katana Man. He explains he heard they got into a fight with some of the younger members of his group but assures her it wasn't on his orders. He shows a picture of Akane and explains he heard she was behind it and got them into deals with the gun devil. Makima wonders what kind of deal, and the man explains they pay 20,000 yen to the gun devil and receive guns and ammo in return. Makima asks him to write the names of everyone in his organization who has a contract with the gun devil. The man agrees, thinking she will just throw them in jail for a while. Makima also wants names from other families, not just his. The man calls that request stupid, saying if the other families find out, it will mean war between them. He asks Makima if she's heard of the term necessary evil, and explains that wiping them out would open Japan to foreign mafias, like the Chinese and Russian, which are worse. They are currently keeping those foreign mafias out. Makima brings out a paper bag, and the man jokes that a bribe won't change his mind. Makima explains it's not money, but things belonging to the families of all the men in the room. It's the eyes of their lovers, wives, grandparents, siblings, and other relatives. The man checks the bag and is shocked to see it full of eyes. Makima says they have someone who can return the eyes without issue, and if he cooperates, she will introduce him to that person. One of the men grabs Makima's shoulder, intending to punch her, but as she stares at him, he stops, his nose starts bleeding, and he falls to his knees. Makima says he uses necessary evil as an excuse, but society doesn't need his excuses. The special division and police surround Katana Man's hideout. Aki wonders what the plan is, but Kishibe says there is no plan, they just go in. Aki, Denji, Power, and Kobeni enter. Shina and Furuno introduce themselves to Kishibe, but he tells them that the police and Division 2 only need to keep the entrances to the first floor and basement sealed. The special division will take out the terrorists. Kishibe explains the special division is made almost entirely of non-humans, and if one of them escapes, they could cause more damage than the terrorists. He then explains who the members are. Beam, the shark fiend, enters the first floor through the wall and gets excited upon seeing the zombies, eager to eat. Kishibe explains that Beam can swim through any surface and transform his head into his devil form for a few moments. Beam is eating zombies and tries to bite a hooded man but gets kicked. He then apologizes to Galgali, the violence fiend, explaining he mistook him for a zombie. Kishibe explains that devils become weaker when they become fiends, but the violence fiend is still quite strong. As Galgali beats up zombies, he sees a woman and warns her to leave, or she'll turn into a zombie if bitten. As she turns, he realizes she is also a devil, Princey, the spider devil. Kishibe explains that most of the time, she assumes a human form and that humanoid devils tend to be friendly. Princey turns into her devil form and begins killing zombies. A zombie head then rolls and hits the leg of the angel devil, who gets annoyed that it dirted his shoe. He picks up the head and starts eating it. Kishibe says he is a special case with no hatred toward humans, but they must stay away from him, as physical contact drains lifespan. Angel asks Aki for a handkerchief, and Aki gets close to give it to him, surprising Angel that he came that close. A man tries to shoot Aki, but Angel Devil protects him with his wing. Aki runs, knocks out the man, and tells Angel to take him outside. Angel is annoyed by the order but prefers that to fighting. Aki tells Denji, Power, and Kobeni to leave the zombies to the fiends. They will go after Katana Men and Akane but must split up as they don't know where they are. Aki heads to the 4th floor, where a man comes out of a room and tries to shoot him. Aki dodges and knocks him out. 4 more men come out, but one by one, they start bleeding from their noses and collapse. Aki continues searching and eventually finds Akane. He tells her to quietly come with him, but Akane summons the snake devil and tells it to spit something out. The ghost devil appears in front of Aki, and Akane orders it to kill him. The ghost devil attacks, and Aki starts cutting off its arms using the future devil's power, which lets him peek slightly into the future. He still gets overwhelmed, and the ghost devil grabs him by the neck. Akane then orders it to choke him to death. While the ghost devil strangles Aki, he recalls a time when he was dining with Himino. She tries to make him smoke, and Aki finally accepts a cigarette but remarks that she is terrible for making a minor smoke. Upon learning he is a minor, Himino understands why he can't smoke and takes the cigarette back. She tells him that she'll keep it and give it to him when he's grown up and needs something to take the edge off. The ghost devil releases Aki. It extends one of its hands and gives him a cigarette. Aki takes the cigarette and sees "Easy Revenge" written on it. He puts the cigarette in his pocket, stands up, grabs his sword, and walks toward the devil. He recalls Himino telling him that the ghost devil doesn't have eyes and can only see fear. He climbs onto the devil and prepares to cut its head. He tells Himino that he will soon join her and then cuts off the ghost devil's head. Akane is surprised. She starts calling the snake devil, but stops when Kobeni puts a knife to her throat. However, Aki tells Kobeni not to kill Akane. Aki then asks Kobeni why she stayed in public safety. Kobeni explains that they will soon be getting bonus payments. In the elevator, Denji sees Power eating a zombie's arm and finds it gross. Power states that meat is meat, and that pork, beef, and human are all the same. As Denji disagrees, the two are eager to start a fight. Denji reminds her that their job is to capture Katana Man and that it would be good if she doesn't eat him. The elevator doors open on the 7th floor and they see a group of zombies in front of them. Denji tells Power that the zombies haven't noticed them and they shouldn't make loud noises. Power grins and yells her name, challenging the zombies to a fight. She tells Denji to follow her and cover her back. However, Denji decides to stay in the elevator as the doors close, leaving Power to fight the zombies alone. Power fights the zombies, believing that Denji is behind her and will tell the tale of how powerful she is. Denji reaches the 13th floor. As the doors open, he sees Katana Man with 2 of his men. Katana Man wants to talk and explains that, depending on Denji's attitude, they are willing to surrender. He explains that Denji killed his grandfather and their friends, and they want him to pay for that. Denji responds that he did it because they turned into zombies. Katana Man doesn't believe it but says that even if it's true, they were still once human and wonders if Denji feels guilty for killing them. Denji denies it. Katana Man then explains that Akane modified him by replacing his heart with the Katana Devil. However, he couldn't sleep after accidentally killing a zombie. He believes Denji has lost his human heart and, if he still has any conscience left, he should let them kill him. Denji thinks for a moment but refuses. Annoyed, Katana Man declares he will kill Denji, and the two transform. Katanaman attacks Denji and they fly off the building onto the roof of a nearby structure. They continue fighting from rooftop to rooftop until Denji falls onto a train. Katanaman jumps on as well and comments that Denji has become faster. He asks what Denji is fighting for. Denji replies that it's to protect the life he has now. They keep fighting and eventually fall inside the train, which stops due to the commotion. Katanaman takes a stance that Denji recognizes but notices a woman nearby. Denji tries to stop Katanaman, but he doesn't hesitate and cuts off Denji's arm. Katanaman then cuts off Denji's other arm, declaring that Denji can no longer fight and asks him to apologize for killing his grandfather. Denji stands up, stating that he can still fight since he has a chainsaw on his head. He charges at Katanaman, who takes his stance again, and they exchange blows. Katanaman asks if Denji's grandfather didn't teach him when to quit. At that moment, Denji's head chainsaw breaks. Katanaman again asks for an apology. Denji responds that aiming for his head was stupid. In that moment, Katanaman is split in two. Denji then asks if Katanaman's grandfather didn't teach him that a beast should never trust a hunter. As Katanaman falls defeated, Denji reveals he had turned his right leg into a chainsaw. Katanaman soon regains consciousness, finding himself tied to the train with a chainsaw chain. Denji explains that Katanaman is like him. When the katana is removed, he returns to normal. Denji says they have to wait for the police but admits he's upset, because Katanaman killed Himino, and now there's one less pretty girl in the world. He adds that Katanaman will live in prison without regret, but Denji doesn't find that fair. Katanaman says there's nothing he can do, as Denji is public safety's dog. Denji thinks for a moment and says he'll hold a tournament. Aki shows up, confused about what Denji means by a tournament. Aki reports that Katanaman is under control and explains their location. Denji invites Aki to join his ultimate tournament. Denji explains that since Katanaman shot Himino, they should take turns kicking him in the balls. The one who gets the loudest scream before the cops arrive wins. Aki sighs and reminds Denji that their job is to capture him, not torture him for satisfaction, as that won't make Himino happy. Aki takes out the cigarette he got from the ghost devil, looks at it for a moment, then puts it back in his pocket. He asks Denji what the winner gets. Denji replies that the winner gets Katanaman's balls. Katanaman pleads for them to stop, but the two start kicking him, hoping Himino can hear them. Makima later reports that the terrorist attack was instigated by a former civilian devil hunter, Akane Sawatari. She made a contract with the gun devil and distributed guns to the Yakuza. In return, the Yakuza explained that Akane wanted the chainsaw devil's heart. Her superior wonders why. Makima says that before they could learn, the snake devil killed Akane. It was likely an involuntary suicide due to her contract with the gun devil. They also seized 1.4 kilograms of gun devil flesh from the building. When they combined it with the 5 kilograms they already had, the new large piece finally started to move toward the gun devil itself. Makima's superior wonders where it's going. Sometime after that, Aki goes onto his balcony after dinner to smoke. He takes out a cigarette, which turns out to be the one with "Easy Revenge" written on it. He looks at it for a moment, then lights it and smokes it. Meanwhile, Denji dreams of being younger and in a back alley. He sees a door and stands in front of it. He notes that he has dreamed of this many times but always forgets afterward. He hears Pochita's voice from behind the door and wants to open it so he can touch him again. Pochita warns him not to open the door,